because I'm Batman, because I'm Batman, because I'm Batman. Bing. You don't know what that is, look that up on YouTube, because I'm Batman. But I digress. Welcome to YouTube world and YouTube tribe to LilBigMan Gaming, bringing you a review for the Batman. In honor, since I didn't really have anything to Batman like, since I only had this shirt, this NWO shirt that's basically red and black like the Batman, I decided to wear that for this review. Before I get into my review of what I thought of the movie, let me give you the synopsis to help you to set it up for what I think. Batman ventures into Gotham City's underworld when a sadistic killer leaves behind a trail of cryptic clues. As the evidence begins to lead closer to home and the scale of the perpetrator's plan becomes clear, he must forge new relationships, unmask the culprit, and bring justice to the abuse of power and corruption that has long plagued the metropolis. Now, there's a lot of corruption. That's one of the beautiful things about this movie, which is why this is what I loved about it. The fact that there's so much corruption in this movie, it makes sense why they actually add the element of him being the detective. Because it wasn't just as simply, oh, we got to stop the Riddler and his plans. No, to understand what the Riddler was going to do and why he's doing it, you have to actually do some detective work. And even then when Batman and Commissioner Gordon did some detective work and thought they was getting, to the nitty gritty of it or getting ahead of him, he was always one or two steps ahead. And that is, in the third act, you see that perfectly. Like, you watch the movie, it's like, man, they always just a little bit behind, but then you see it perfectly that in the third act, once they thought it was all said and done, there was still more movie to go, and there was still something else they did not figure out. For the tense of the movie, Batman, like I think they said it in interviews too, but you find out in the movie that Bruce Wayne has been Batmaning for 2 years now. So he has a 2-year rapport with the police department. Though it's evident that none of the police, not the commissioner, not the police, not the mayor, nobody pretty much likes Batman but Commissioner Gordon. And you see that throughout the movie that for Bruce Wayne's part as Batman, that's the only police person he trusts. He only trusts Commissioner Gordon. And Commissioner Gordon only trusts Batman. And you'll see why. When you see the movie, you'll see why. But that's a line, I will tell you, that's a line, when I said Commissioner Gordon only trusts Batman, that's a line directly from the movie. So I won't say it's a spoiler because you don't know where it shows up. But he did admit that the only person he trusts is Batman. I love Commissioner Gordon in this because this Commissioner Gordon was more like the Commissioner Gordon like that we got to see for briefly in the Justice League movie. He was like that. He was a Commissioner Gordon that trusts Batman. But what I will say, now it was a lot of speculation about whether Robert Pattinson was going to be this, going to be that. I will say this, in my opinion, even though I won't say he's like first or second as the best Batman. He's definitely not that. But his Batman movie, in my opinion, just because of the fact that you actually got to see him as a true detective along with the other stuff, this makes his version of a Batman live action Batman movie better than the others because he just wasn't like, it wasn't just one thing with a little bit of detective work, or it wasn't all detective work with just a little bit of like action and Batman beating down people. Like it wasn't one thing over the other. They balanced it. They gave you just as much detective Batman as the other side of Batman, with a little bit of family drama and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I will say I didn't like that Alfred. I won't say I didn't like him as Alfred, but I didn't like the fact that Alfred wasn't in the movie enough to me. But I will give him credit when Andy Serkis, when he was in the movie as Alfred, he played a good Alfred. But it was just I wanted more Andy Serkis as Alfred. You know, that was a takeaway for me from that. And another takeaway was Riddler's costume design. Now, when I say that, I mean the overall head to toe. I like that it was green, like, you know, they kept it green like he's like his comic book counterpart, but it wasn't. Remember, it's supposed to be green and black because you're supposed to have green with black crescent marks, you know, with green outlines, stuff like that. Obviously, they're not going to do that for this type of serious movie, but we didn't get no allusion to it. But then again, this is the beginning years of Batman. This is the beginning of the Riddler. So maybe we're going to see a transformation down the line. In terms of villains, we did get, well, if you call Catwoman a villain, if you consider that, we did get to see a handful. We got to see Catwoman, if you will, the Penguin. Before he adopted that moniker, he wasn't really the Penguin yet. In this movie, Colin Farrell's Penguin is just basically Oswald Cobblepot. He's not really the Penguin just yet, but you see where his villainous will take him to, and you see Selena Kyle, how she could possibly become the villainous version of Catwoman, but then it's a struggle to become to stay this good Catwoman. You got to see Falcone, some other villains. You got to see a lot of villains in this movie. Not all of them was their counterpart, but this movie was the beginning for all of these villains, and at least for Catwoman, at least for her, when it comes to Catwoman, her relationship with Batman they made it apparent that she has a thing for Batman. Like it was one of those things where when they first met, they couldn't stand. It was like she didn't, because she didn't know what he was about. But as I can't talk. As they went to continue to work together, you get to see the love story between Bruce and Catwoman. It was like the only time you saw Bruce normal, even when it was cool to see, even when he's Batman, and he only appeared to her as Batman. He was normal in the sense that he actually wants to love, to be different, but he's also played by his desire to be Batman. And the whole course of the film is about secrets and people who hide their secrets, even Bruce Wayne and his family secrets. And these secrets cause Bruce Wayne, it does cause him to question whether or not the foundation in which he wanted to be Batman, the foundation that he built his principles of being Batman on, wasn't built on false pretense and on lies, and make him question that. Yeah, overall though, the visuals, the action was good, the acting was good. Like I said, the only things I really didn't like was the fact that there wasn't enough Alfred scenes. It wasn't enough time with Alfred, though we did get to see Alfred like helping him doing Batman stuff. But I just wish we got a little bit more of that so I could understand a little bit more where this version of Alfred comes from. And I didn't like the Riddler's costume design. Cause I didn't dig the whole mask thing. It was the whole him having the mask is what threw me off. Even though I understand what they were trying to say, but it still just threw me off. Yeah, if I had to say, like I said, I say that before I give my verdict in this video, I will say that Robert Pattinson's, in my opinion, his Batman, if I had to say, because of the way I enjoy myself, his Batman is better than Christian Bale's Batman. I was gonna say they tied together, but then I compared to how the time I have watching Christian Bale's Batman and watching Robert Pattinson, and I would say that in my opinion, Robert Pattinson's Batman is better than Christian Bale's Batman. And overall, just because he's got to be a detective in this movie, that makes, in my opinion, that makes this Batman movie better than any of the live action Batman, just because he got to be Batman movies, not any of the live action Batmans, but the live action Batman movies, because it had the nice balance of true detective work. And like I said, we had a little bit of that when in that movie. I want to say Batman Forever. I think that's the movie where Jim Carrey played the Riddler, and we did get a little bit of detective work in there, but it wasn't like how this one did. Matt Reeves did a good job with this movie. I would give this movie 9 big ups. I only took a whole point just for those two things. Instead of making it 2 points for each, I took 1 point for the fact that I didn't like Riddler's costume design, and I didn't like the fact that we didn't get enough Alfred. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this Batman movie, without spoiling it if you've seen it. And yeah, if you enjoyed this review, hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoyed this review so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification button. Do all those great things, because it helps me. It supports the channel and helps me know that you enjoy this content and you want to see more of it. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. But don't go anywhere, because I got a Far Cry 6 video coming up. I got some more Elder Rings and the 2K22. So see you in the next one. Peace.